Hello, so this is the group number 4 with Lucas, Fanny, Rohit, and GI, and we are working on ABInBev.
ABInBev is a multinational drink and brewing holding company which is based in Leuven, Belgium. So it was formed in 2008 with a merger between ABInBev and Anheuser-Busch in United States. So it manages over 400 brands including Budweiser, Stella, Corona, Beck's, sells beer in more than 100 countries, and in 2017 it sold around 613 million hectoliters. And if you look at the market share, it is 28%, and while the next player is just 9%. Talking about the value chain of beer industry, so it starts with the crop cultivation, moves on to processing, then brewing the beer, bottling, packaging, transportation and distribution, and then the final customers. So when we look at the crop cultivation, the farmers and companies like Macrit Simpson, Koch Fertilizers, etc. help them. Moving on to crop processing, Fermentis, Pride Milling Company, and Charles Farms involved in crop processing. And companies like ABInBev, Heineken, Carl's Group, they brew the beer, while the packaging is done by Coca-Cola, Century Bottling Company, Northern Bottling Company, etc. And transportation is done by Convo Haulage, Auto Logistics, and it gets moved to pubs and bars. And then there are final consumers who enjoy the beer. If we look at the key geographic locations, so they operate almost in every part of the world. There's their operations in 9 geographic locations, and they sell beers in over 150 countries. So looking at the value chain of the company, so they combine the primary as well as the support activities and run their operations. If we look at their operations, so they brew the best beers and deliver most of what consumer desire for. Then they manage the portfolio of more than 400 brands, and their 7 brands are among top 10 beer brands. They have the largest distribution channel across the globe over all beer competitors, and they collaborate with suppliers to create a resilient supply chain and deliver value to the company. Talking about research and development, so they are always innovating and they leverage new technologies to better engage with the customers, and they hire the best pool from the B schools through the global management program.
So about the competitive advantage, we have a cost efficiency and financial focus, where we have a conscious culture driven by the CEO and an environment where every dollar spent needs to be justified. It's called the zero-based budgeting. It means that ABInBev relies on a concept where a financial projections are built from the ground instead of common practices, using of previous budget or actual results, and then adding a certain percentage spend increase. We have also a brand-focused strategy where the company maintains a strong internal financial reporting and performance management in system so that profitability can be seen on the brand by level. Strong mergers and acquisitions capability. It means that in organic growth, strong M&A integration is key to the success. ABInBev acquired Anheuser-Busch in 2008 and formed Anheuser-Busch InBev. In October 2016, company purchased another big company, SABMiller, and focus on achieving high synergy benefits from the mergers and acquisitions. Cost leadership strategy. We have an operational efficiency because ABInBev is leader on the market. It generates operating profits of around 35%, while the industry average is in the 20s. We operate on a large scale, thereby gets benefits of economy of scale, an aggressive cost-saving strategy through the company, then long-term contract with the supplier at very prices around the world due to large volume orders.
If we take a look at the supply chain management goals of the company, we can see that first, they use the circular packaging. The company is constantly looking for ways to increase the recycled materials in their packaging, to increase recycling rates around the world through the recovery and reuse of materials, to reduce the amount of materials they use in the packaging, and to educate consumers on the importance of recycling. They also use the smart agriculture. They support the direct farmers to be skilled, connected, and financially empowered. The company is helping the farmers to improve their productivity, their profitability, and their efficient use of natural resources such as soil and water. They secure the water access with the water stewardship. Water is more than just a key ingredient in the beer. It's a critical resource for the economic, social, and environmental well-being of our communities. They also do climate action. They do the championing low carbon technology. They brewing beers on a healthy natural environment as well on thriving communities.
Concerning internal segmentation, we have raw materials like malt, yeast, sugar, water, hops. In processing, milling, mashing, wort separation, wort boiling. Beer brewing, like fermentation, beer clarification and cooling. And also packaging, with beers or bottle or canned. All of that concern climate issue. We have also foundation, like capital goods, like installation, brewing facilities, buildings, assembly line for packaging and labeling. It's concerned the capacity expansion. We have logistic with transport and storage, which concern fuel prices, and then marketing, which is promotion, digital print media advertising, marketing campaigns, in which it concerns increasing competition.
Strategic metrics can help purchasing department to maximize supply security and reduce cost. So raw materials and packaging materials deserve most attention from the purchasing manager. Thus, they can think of developing long-term relationship with the suppliers. Purchasing department should consider water, sugar, beer tanks, IT systems, etc. in leverage and should use the full purchasing power. Labeling can be considered a bottleneck, while warehousing, web space, etc. should be considered non-critical, and purchasing department should approach these items using standard products. If we look at malt, so farmers are geographically concentrated at different locations. Their production leads to climatic issues, and so they strategically integrate with farmers through Smart Barley initiative.
About the supply chain innovation, Smart Barley was launched in 2013 and helps farmers to solve challenges and improve their productivity and environmental performance. It means to produce high-quality malt barley. It also allows them to expand partnership and also to help agronomists to help to improve their productivity, profitability, and natural resource efficiency.
Our supply market analysis is about more. Global more ingredient market is expected to register a CAGR of 7.1%. The market structure is geographically concentrated. North America and Europe dominate the global market with their massive production of malt and brewery products. We can see they are in a high competitive landscape. And the market segmentation, there are a lot of different categories. It can be broadly segmented on the basis of type, application, brewer, and source. Production capacity, the current status is excess capacity. Product quality is unpredictable. Malt quality is determined by environmental and genotypic influence. Innovation in technology like value chain integration, reducing water consumption and energy consumption. The risk is on material supply company and country, like barley collection and storage, managing transport and logistic chain, etc.
Talking about supply-based configuration of malt, so number of suppliers are multiple, such as farmers, malt processing companies such as Wehrmann, Macrit, Simpson and Prentice, etc. So ABInBev tried to strategically maintain long-term relationship with the suppliers due to supply complexity, and they try to improve efficiency of farm production by directly integrating with the farmers and accessing their expertise, and also maintaining balance with other suppliers. And when we talk about supply-based structure, so there are first-tier suppliers such as farmers. So the company work with the farmers directly in order to educate them, support them, and help in increasing their productivity. So they directly integrate with the farmers. Talking about supplier development and integration, we use involvement and continuity metrics. We place farmers on high involvement and high continuity. Thus, the company plays strategically to integrate with the farmers to have a long-term relationship with them. And traders such as Wehrmann, Macrit, Simpson and Prentice, Fermentis, etc. are high continuity but low involvement suppliers. So company maintains long-term but arm's length relationship with the suppliers that provide processed malt.
In the purchasing federation role, the buyer isn't an individual but a group of people within a company who collectively make purchase decisions. Purchasing is decider, approver, buyer, and gatekeeper. Operations is user, influencer. Finance is approver, buyer. R&D is influencer, and marketing is influencer and decider. In ABInBev, purchasing and operations determine the need and the problem recognition. The R&D, purchasing, and operation determine the product specification. The R&D and purchasing determine the suppliers and product search. The finance, purchasing, and operation determine the evaluation of proposal and supplier selection. The purchasing and operation determine the specification of order routine, and the purchasing, operation, and R&D determine the performance, feedback, and evaluation.
Talking about supply evaluation, we use criteria that are most important for the company, such as malt quality, cost, geographical presence, sustainability, delivery time, innovation, and financial position of the supplier. And we assign the weights according to their importance, and we evaluated 3 suppliers, that is Wehrmann, Fermentis, and Mackert, Simpson, and Prentice. We assigned points to each of these suppliers on the basis of services offered by them and then calculated the weighted sum, and Fermentis scored the maximum of all the 3, that is 8.15, and thus it can be chosen as a supplier. Now moving on to SWOT analysis of ABInBev. Starting with the strengths. ABInBev has global presence, so they have access to global markets as well as global suppliers around the world. They have benefit of economics of scale. They operate on a very large scale, they have high volumes, and thus they get benefit of economies of scale as they order in large numbers. They get support by the farmers as well as their suppliers in terms of their sustainability goals. They resort to multiple sourcing from farmers as well as processed malt suppliers. So they leverage their position with the suppliers as well as play strategically with the farmers and having a direct relationship with them. They have the strong mergers and acquisition capability, which means they rely on synergy benefits with merging and acquiring different companies. So they recently acquired Sam Miller and gained a lot of synergy benefits. They have research and development labs across the globe, so they continue innovation and use the latest technology to provide best solutions to the customers. Now moving on to weaknesses of ABInBev. Malt is an important raw material for beer, but one of the major problems that ABInBev faces is unpredictable malt quality. Next is poor organic growth. Since the beginning, ABInBev focused only on inorganic growth, while the organic growth wasn't been impressive. Now, beer is a sector that involves too much government involvement, so ABInBev faces a lot of problem with regard to this, with the government intervention at every phases. They focus only on beers, while there has been a trend while people are moving to different non-alcoholic drinks, but ABInBev mostly focus on beers. Last one is the waste generation at every point in the supply chain. So while they procure malt and in the process of beer brewing and in packaging, a lot of waste is generated. And ABInBev need to spend a lot of resources in reducing this waste and achieving their sustainability goals. Now moving on to opportunities. First, complete integration with the farmers. Though ABInBev has started integrating with the farmers, but a complete integration with the farmers will provide them an added advantage and eliminate the complexities in the supply chain. Second, acquiring or merging with Chinese beer companies. Now, recently China has seen a phenomenal growth in the consumption of beer. So ABInBev, with its core strategy of merging and acquiring other companies, they can integrate with a Chinese beer company and have an added advantage. Third is growth of craft beer. Recently there have been a very high increase in the consumption of craft beer. So ABInBev, being a market leader, can get into the craft beer industry and exploit the market. Now, talking about threats, legal hassles. Many governments view alcoholism as a serious moral issue and are making moves to increase taxes to curb distribution. This can pose future threats to the company. Next is climate issue. The process of beer brewing generates a lot of damage to the environment and can pose a serious threat to the company. Next is rise of dollar. ABInBev is a global player and has suppliers across the globe, and rise of dollar as compared to other currencies will pose a serious foreign currency risk to the company. And at last but not the least is the competition. The rise in the competition will always pose a serious threat to the company in terms of supply chain and purchasing.
These are the references, and that's how ABInBev managed a sustainable business model. Thank you for your attention.